Hi, this is Kailash Kore, BI Tech Lead from CloudFronts. In today's session, I have with me my colleague Ankita. She will be giving demonstration on Power BI updates. Also, I have with me Anil Shah, Managing Partner of CloudFronts. He will be interacting in this session. He will be interacting during this session. So, Ajay.
So hi guys, this is Anil. So welcome to today's session. We are back again with our Power BI deep dives. So I'll let Kailash walk through the agenda and so we can get started. Thank you.
So, agenda of today's session. First, we will see quick recap on previous Power BI webinar. Then we will see Power BI with Azure SQL Data Warehouse. In that, we will see what is the Azure SQL Data Warehouse. And then we'll see the demo of pulling data from CRM Online to Azure SQL Data Warehouse using SSIS package. Then we'll create some report in Power BI using Azure SQL Data Warehouse. Then my colleague Ankita will be giving demonstration on Power BI updates that was released in September and October. It has divided into two parts, that is Power BI desktop tool and Power BI online service. And finally, we'll go for the Q&A session. So quick recap. So we started a Power BI webinar in June 2015. It is a prior to Power BI globally available. In that session, we have shown the Power BI Office 365 Power BI compared with the new Power BI. Also, we have shown new features of Power BI. Then in August 2015, we have started deep dive series. In that deep dive series, we have shown as July and August update. Also, we have shown REST API with real-time analytics. And last webinar, in September webinar, we have focused on the September updates, as well as we have shown how to connect MySQL data using Power BI and how to publish a report and schedule report using personal Power BI gateway. So all these recordings are available on YouTube channels. So now we'll start with the Azure SQL Data Warehouse. So what is the Azure SQL Data Warehouse? Azure SQL Data Warehouse is an enterprise class distributed database capable of processing petabyte volumes of relational and non-relational data. It is the industry first cloud data warehouse with grow, shrink, and pause in second with proven SQL capabilities. It has some capabilities that we will see afterward. First, I will go to portal.azure.com and will create a data warehouse.
Understand the Azure is a new feature. It is still in preview on Azure. It's a public preview, of course, but it's expected to go out of preview in the next few months. But as we continue to have massive amounts of data, in fact, one of the current projects on AX that we're working on, actually the client has, and for processing these and for scaling up your data warehouses in real time, these cloud data warehouses, like the Azure SQL warehouse, become critical because they have elasticity built into them, so they can scale up and scale down, both in computing power and processing power, as I was saying, in near real time without any human intervention.
That's correct, Anil. So now I have login portal.azure.com. So now I'm creating a new data warehouse. So for this, I'm clicking on new. Under new, I will clicking on data and storage. Under that, SQL data warehouse. So first I need to give a name. So I'm giving data warehouse test. So performance, by default it is taking 400 data warehouse units. So what is data warehouse unit? Data warehouse units are the unit of scale for compute resources in SQL data warehouse that we will discuss in when we discuss the capabilities. So currently I don't require these 400 data warehouse units, so I am reducing up to 100. Then I need to give a server name, so I am clicking on this.
Question, and not a question, but one quick update on this specific feature, which is the performance. What is a data warehouse unit? As you said, it is a combination of determining parallel processing, how much compute power you need, but all of these terms which are very specific before, how much RAM do you need, how much CPU do you need, how much storage do you need, they sort of translate into this units which might not be very clear. So as I understand, you guys are actually working on a benchmarking white paper which is supposed to be released towards the end of next month. We're actually going to talk specifically about what a 100 DWU means, what a 200 DWU means, and they might require to use because this is an thing. At the same time, it is also the main aspect of cost as it relates to your SQL data warehouse.
That's true, Anil. Now I am selecting server, so I have created one server test DWH, so I am selecting that one. I required a blank database, so blank database. So now I'm creating a. I will create on.
So another one thing that I wanted to talk about was you selected the server as test DWH. As I understand, this particular server is not an Azure VM. As we are all used to, our data warehouse is today on top of an Azure VM. So it's not an Azure VM, it's just a SQL server. You don't, and the way you access it is predominantly through Management Studio on your local machine or any other machine where you're going to eventually set up the tables and structures, correct?
That's correct, Anil. So now I'm creating a data warehouse. So it will take a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, we'll see the capabilities of data warehouse. So first capability, SQL data warehouse introduces separate storage and compute, allowing each to scale independently. This means when you need a faster result, increase your data warehouse unit and pay for the greater number of data warehouse unit. When you don't need that much compute power, decrease your data warehouse unit and go back to paying for the smaller amount of data warehouse unit. The compute power grows in proportion to number of data warehouse unit. Doubling the data warehouse unit double the compute resources. For example, when you don't need the run queries perhaps in evening or weekends, pause compute resources to cancel all running queries and remove all data warehousing allocated to your data warehouse. Your data storage stay intact, but there is no charge for compute resources when you need to start running queries, perhaps on Monday morning when you resume your compute resources. This is the first feature. So second one is a massively parallel processing and column stroke indexes for breakthrough. So massively parallel processing is a divide and conquer approach to solving large data problem by using parallel computing. Data is divided and distributed across the many computing resources, and each computing resources operates on its portion of the data in parallel. So now we'll see the what is a column store index. Column store index are the keys to achieving fast query performance on data warehouse queries by using column based storage. Column store indexes get up to 5 times compression gain over traditional row oriented storage and up to 10 times query performance gain. So third one is a query across the both relational and non-relational data. Polybase is easy to use, allow you to leverage your data from different sources by using the same TSQL commands that you are familiar with. There is no need to learn HiQL or any other language to benefit the Hadoop. The fourth one is the secure infrastructure deployment with no maintenance cost. Means the SQL data warehouse easily deploy in couple of minutes And also SQL Data Warehouse has a built-in backup and supports self-service to restore. So there is no need to keep a DBA or maintain all those things. So we'll see whether our database data warehouse is created or not. So it has given some errors. So for that I have created one data warehouse called test data DWH. So I'm clicking over here. So it will look like this. So now I'm going to demonstrate to pull CRM data, CRM some entities like leads and opportunity using SSIS package in Azure SQL Data Warehouse. So how we can do? Before pulling that, I need to create required tables in Azure SQL Data Warehouse. For that, I'm just opening Visual Studio. Before that, we need to allow this machine to from firewall. So you can click on the configure your firewall. This machine is already allowed. Suppose you want to allow, you can put IP, add a client IP and save. So it will allow this. So now I'm opening the Visual Studio. So after open the Visual Studio, you will get this SQL and a SQL server under this our data warehouse name, and we can create a required table. So I'm creating a required tables. I have a script ready with me. So I want to create a lead. So this
Um, so while Kailash is creating um, the table structures, one thing I want to iterate is when he started creating the warehouse, he had, so of course it's going to be blank because you're going to set up your own table structures. The sample, he's going to look at the lead and the opportunity entities from CRM Online. So he's sort of run his SSIS before, and he's got the table structures from CRM. So he's setting that up. The goal being that and create some nice looking dashboards for sales metrics, sales pipeline, etc. Go ahead, Kailash.
So just now I have created a lead. Now I am creating a opportunity. So I have created two tables under this data warehouse, that is the lead and opportunity. So now I am going to pull a data from CRM to this data warehouse two tables using SSIS package. So I have ready with me this SSIS package. So I have created a connection to CRM online. SSIS doesn't have its own connector to connect CRM online, so we have used a third-party tool called Kingsway Soft. It is allowing to connect CRM and fetch the data. So I have passed the credential and connect to this now.
So one thing I want to say is Kailash has haven't used Kingsway Soft before. Very good sort of connection tool that leverages SSIS sort of to connect to CRM. So and the developer edition doesn't cost anything. Commercial edition is not expensive. So it's a quick way to get started without trying to develop your own connector. So we do work with Kingsway Soft quite often for connecting to CRM Online.
Creating connection to Azure SQL Data Warehouse, passing the credential. I will test first whether this connection is perfect. Okay. So now I am execute this package. So it will pull opportunity and lead data from CRM online to data warehouse. So it will take us some couple of minutes. So after that, we are going to see Power BI using Azure SQL Data Warehouse. We'll see in two parts. That is, one is the Power Desktop tool, how we can use the Power Desktop tool to pull a data from Azure SQL Data Warehouse. The Azure SQL data in Power Desktop tool, we have a direct connector available to connect Azure SQL data warehouse. In that, we can perform cleaning, transformation, and data modeling. Also, it has the ability to create a calculated column and measures. Even we can publish this report on Power BI online service, and we can schedule these reports. So first we'll see whether our data is importing. Okay, so almost one table is imported. So I'm connecting to this data warehouse from Power BI desktop. For that I have just opened Power BI desktop. Now I'm connecting to Power BI desktop. So there is a connector available for Power BI desktop under Azure. So I'm just connecting over here. It will ask for the server name, so that I will get from here. So I'm copying this server name, passing over here. Database name is optional, but I know the database name, so I'm putting that database name. So it will ask my credential also, but yeah. So I have done this couple of times, so it has not asked my credentials. So whatever tables we created, it's an opportunity. We can see over here. So I am just selecting both the tables. I click on the edit. So both table will come into query editor. As I mentioned earlier, I can do a cleaning and transformations. So in query editor, suppose I don't want, I want only the who has the actual closing dates, those records. So I'm just putting a filter. Then I'm creating a data model, close to apply. So it will import all those records in data model. So we'll perform some, just we'll create some calculated column and measures in data model. So it will take some time. Okay. So now both the tables are imported in data model. In opportunity table, I am creating one column. So just click on column. I am using a DAX function. So I want a year of, sorry.
So while Kailash is going to mention, if you guys have any questions, them in the question box, so we can answer them. Kailash, did you find what you're looking for? Okay, so go ahead, Kailash.
So I'm creating a new column over here in opportunity table, year. Selecting this actual date, created date. Okay. So here we have created a one calculated column. Also, I am creating one measures. I want a total actual revenue. For that, I am using sum of opportunity actual value. So measure is also created. So now we'll go in visualization screen and we'll create a sum visualize. So now I'm selecting this graph visualization. In this, in opportunity, I want to take this owner ID. Against that, I have created an actual revenue. So it has created. So one more visualization I will create. That is donut chart. So I'm selecting this owner ID name, budgeted amount. So that kind of visualization you can create. So you can create your own reports. You can, and then you can publish on your Power BI online service. From here you can directly publish on Power BI online service. So I'm publishing this report. So it is asking for save. So I'm saving this file. I will save on my one of the folder with the name data warehouse test. Save. So it will save and publish on my Power BI account. So after publish, it will give a link. So when I will click that on link, so that here I can open this in Power BI online service. So okay, so this is the Power BI online service, and here it is showing this data set, AWS test, and the report is this. So I can pin it this report and dashboards. So I'm creating one dashboard called data warehouse test, and I will pin it over here. If you see, so data warehouse test has created, and this information is pinned over here. So now I can schedule this report, clicking on this schedule refresh. For schedule this report, I need to pass credential, data warehouse credentials. So I will pass this credential, my login and password, and then I will. So I'm just scheduling refresh in my India time zone. I want to schedule on 7 a.m. so that I can do. In a day, we can schedule a refresh 8 times with the 1 hour interval. So I have scheduled this one. So this is the Power BI desktop ability. So now we'll see for the direct connectivity to Power BI from Azure. For that, so now in Azure, this SQL data warehouse, there is a one tab called Open in Power BI. So if I click on this, the data warehouse will connect to online service. So this is the server name, database name, next. Now I'm passing my credential. If you see here, this data set is created. So I can explore over here. But in this online service, I cannot create calculated columns and measures. Whatever columns are available, I need to take that one. So I'm creating one visualization over here using my opportunity table. That is, and so I have suppose created this report. So I can save this report with the name I'm giving data warehouse test saving. So it has created, and from report I can pin it on my dashboard. So here is one advantage in data warehouse. From if you publishing directly, you are connecting Power BI directly from the data warehouse. So there is no need to set a schedule refresh. So it is automatically refreshed within the 15 minutes of interval. So I hope you have enjoyed this one session. So now my colleague Ankita will continue with Power BI updates. So I am handing over to Ankita.
Thank you, Kailash. Hello everyone, this is Ankita Anchan and I'll be taking you through few of the demonstration on Power BI update. This session is been divided into two parts, that is updates in Power BI desktop tool and updates in Power BI online services. Let's get started. First, I'll be talking about the updates in Power BI desktop tool. Specifically from the query editor section, I'll be demonstrating two updates, that is copy paste queries between Power BI desktop and the other is filter by not earliest latest date and in previous n minutes, hours and seconds. Let's take a look. For that, I'll be using the Power BI desktop to demonstrate the so I'll create a new page. I'll go to the query editor session of this report. As you can see, I have three different tables here, that is account set, lead set and opportunity set. Now suppose I require the same cleaning transformation done for this account set table in my another Power BI desktop file. So what I need to do is simply right click on this table, click on copy and all the applied steps as we can see here in this window will get copied to my new desktop or maybe the existing one. If suppose I need to copy to the existing one, I just have to go to the query editor section and on the query panel, I'll right click and click on paste. As you can see, my account set table has been copied to this new desktop file and all the cleaning transformation steps already done for this table has been copied and applied here. Now let's take a look on the other part, that is the copy paste and then the date filter option. Now as you can see in opportunity set, we have a date column that is created on. If suppose I want to check whether what is the first created or the latest created opportunity, what is the first created or the latest created opportunity, I just need to click on the arrow. In the date and time filters option, I have six new
Hear me? I think Ankita is having some audio issues. To do one thing, Ankita, just give us a second.
okay. In the date and time filters, we have six new filter options, that is in the next, in the previous, is earliest, is latest, is not earliest, is not latest. So if I want to check what was the earliest opportunity created, I just need to click on it. What helps here is we need not need to write some measures or any functions to get this data. Simply we have already created or already available option which can extract and filter the data according to our need. So here I am checking for the earliest created opportunity for my given data set. This thus helps to get the quick view of what the user wants. This helps the developer to get the data according to his need and thus meet his requirement. This new date and time filter option in the query editor session allows the user to filter the date which are not in the previous range of time or seconds of the current column. We can select any column such as modified date, we can check the created date, we can check the end date to get the data filtered and use it whenever or wherever we require. So let's visualize the data.
Yeah, so it is taking time. So Ankita, you can continue with other feature and then we show that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's done.
we got according to my data set 8/3/2015 was the first created opportunity. Now let's move on to the visualization part. Now in the demo we will be talking about three good features in the visualization section: visualization, drill down effect and hyperlinks. Let's take a look. Now we have more visualization effects available with us in Power BI Gallery. For that, I need to go to the Power BI Gallery window where, as you can see, we have so many different visuals support available for our visualization. Now here I'll be using the Sunburst option. I'll click on that. I'll click on download and I agree to the terms. Now moving on to my dashboard, we see the ellipses present here in the visualization pane. I'll click on it and select import. In this import, I can see the Sunburst PBI Viz file which I'll select and open. So I have successfully imported into this report. Now Sunburst view is available here. Remember, each time you need to download or you need to import the file again for the different file. Once for this file, if I have imported the Sunburst view and I open some another desktop tool, some different source or some different file, I again need to import the visualization. Now for this, I'll be taking some data here, maybe the owner name and then the opportunity name, for instance, and I'll want the actual revenue to be the value displayed. So this is a visualization that I have created which shows for this particular user what are the opportunities created, and depending on the revenue the opportunity scale has been divided. Now we have many options here. We can change the text of the tile, we can change the font color, in the background if I needed something else I can make it center aligned. Even I change the complete background chart to make it look something very good. Now as you can see, we have different owners with different opportunities, and let's move on to the next visualization. The visualization I'll be demonstrating next is the same, but there is a new feature. For that I have selected a custom column chart and I'll be selecting the owner name and then the opportunity name. This is a new feature which gives a drill down effect for the hierarchical view. Now I'll select the revenue in the value option. Now as you can see in the left top corner we have two arrows which says drill up and drill down to the next level. Now, drill up is disabled because we of hierarchy. Now, in drill down, when I click, I'll directly get the actual revenue by opportunity name. Again, I'll drill up and get the actual revenue by owner name. Another arrow in my right top corner says click to turn on drill down, which allows us to filter depending on the user. If I want to select a particular user and check the opportunity under that user, I get it over here. So this helps us to not to create many visualization with same data again and again and get an hierarchical view within one visualization itself. Let's move on to the next. That is, we can now create hyperlinks using text boxes. Now, hyperlinks were previously also supported by Power BI, but we had to get the complete URL to the our visualization pane, which was not that good. Now, I'll select some data to be displayed. Now, for this data, I need only the part of the data as an link to the link can be a site, can be an article, anything that we need to get a good view or good understanding what actually we are supposed to show them. Now I link and I'll copy paste the URL that I need. I'll click on done. As you can see, the update text in my text box has been converted to a link. To go to that link, I just have to place my cursor on that text and click on the link. I'll directly get directed to the link or articles there. All about the desktop part. Moving on to the Power BI online service. In Power BI online service, we can create dashboard In Power BI Online, I'll be focusing on the dashboard part and demonstrating three good features, that is featured questions in Power BI Q&A, full screen mode and in focus mode. Let's take a look. I'll be signing in to a Power BI online service. This is a dashboard that I have. As you can see, when I place my section, I already get the measures and calculated columns created for my reports. Now, in Q&A part of this Power BI online service, we cannot type any random questions and get the answer. For that, we can go to how to ask, and Power BI automatically helps us to understand what are the different used to understand our data better. On the same hand, the user can get different questions scheduled over here. That is, I can go to the featured question and answer. I can add the question if I want my user to get an idea of what exactly has to be done with the data. So I'll copy some new questions and try to execute them in the online part, and I'll click on apply. Now I have selected total estimated revenue by owner name Pi. Now when I go to the dashboard and click on the how to ask query, I can see that I have created a new query tab here, which gives me a good visualization on how my total estimated revenue by owner name in a pie visual looks like. Now moving on to the next feature, that is full screen mode. Power BI now supports full screen mode, that is we can see the complete tiles in full screen mode. If you want, it's difficult to scroll down again and again to get a complete view of your dashboard, you can select this fit to screen option available here. The tile size will shrink automatically and get into your screen size to view the complete dashboard in one screen itself. If you want to go back to the original state, it have to click the same option again and get back to the same previous size. To exit the screen full screen mode, I have to click here or on this option, that is exit full screen mode, and I am back to my dashboard. The last feature I'll be talking about is the in focus mode. For a particular tile, if I want to concentrate on a one tile and understand what exactly it is displaying, there is an in focus mode available. I'll click on it. This gives me several options and gives me details about this particular tile from the dashboard, that is back to the dashboard. Done for this data. I can pin this visual. I can go back to the dashboard. At the same time in this is we can also get the source, that is sales report webinar demo was the report created from which I have pinned this tile to my dashboard. If I click on this source, I'll directly reach to a report section from where this visualization has been pinned to my dashboard. So that's all from my side. Hope you enjoyed this session. Any questions? Thank you. You can contact us on our official website displayed here. Our next webinar is scheduled on 19th of November. Thank you.